Very good morning to one all. So in the last week, we have discussed about the CRO, the functionalities of CRO, different types of the CROs, and what are the different probes which are used for the CRO, and the deflection sensitivity of the CRO was discussed. Okay, so in the next unit, so that is unit 4. In the unit 4, so it regards about the bridge circuits. It regards about the bridge circuits. It explains how the different types of bridge circuits are used to measure electrical parameters such as resistance and impedances of the capacitance and inductance. Okay, so that we will see in the 4th unit. So 4th unit we will discuss about the various types of the bridge circuits. Various types of the bridge circuits. Okay, and today we'll say about the Wheatstone bridge. Okay, the topic is Wheatstone bridge. And before going to this topic, we have some introduction session. So regarding the bridge circuits. So what is the bridge circuit? So a bridge circuit is used to measure the impedances like resistors, capacitors, and inductors. Okay, so we have to measure the resistance and the impedances of capacitors and inductors. So inductors and capacitors have some impedances. Okay, impedance is nothing but it is similar to the resistance. So, but the resistance offering by the capacitors and the inductors we can call it as impedance, and that impedance will be comes in the picture when we apply alternating voltage. Okay. So when we apply the DC voltage to a circuit, okay, in such situation there is no impedance or the impedance regarding capacitors or inductors. When we apply the DC voltage to circuit, only will have the only resistance value. Okay, so when we apply the alternating signal or AC voltage to the circuit, in such situation we will get the picture of concept of impedance. Okay, because this impedance will be changes by the applying AC voltage. So it depends upon the angular velocity of the applied signal, angular frequency. So here it is angular frequency, the frequency of the applied signal. Okay, so depending upon that frequency of the applied signal, the impedance or the resistance offering by the capacitors and inductors values is changes. That change, that value of the capacitor and inductor value corresponding impedance values will be measured by using bridge circuits. Okay, so and also we can also measure the current or voltage signals. Okay, from the transducers, we will obtain the output signal in terms of voltage and current. And to measure that voltage and current also, we can use the bridge circuits to measure voltage and current signals which are generated from the transducers, are measured by using the bridge circuits. Okay, because we can measure the small value of currents and voltages by using the bridge circuits. So that also we will discuss in future coming sections. Okay, and coming to what are the types of bridge circuits? What are the types of bridge circuits? So the first one is DC bridge, DC bridges, and second one is AC bridges. DC bridges and AC bridges. So how these two bridges are different? DC bridges and AC bridges. Okay. So in DC bridges, for measuring of variation of the any signal, so for that we have to give some excitation voltage. For that we have to apply some excitation voltage. Depending upon that excitation voltage, we can separate into the DC bridges and AC bridges. If we apply DC voltage as an excitation voltage, then that becomes as a DC bridges. If we apply an alternating voltage as the excitation voltage, then it is as a AC bridges. It is become as an AC bridge. Okay, and DC bridges are mainly used for measurement consisting of the to measure. Here there is a mistake here, hypothetical error. So that is DC bridges are used to measure the resistance. Okay, so here it is not to measure the impedances of constant capacitors. It is wrong. So DC bridges are used for measuring of the resistance. Okay, whether it is high resistance or low resistance. Okay, and whereas AC bridges are used to measure the impedance. Okay, impedances of capacitance and inductances. So this is the wrong statement. Okay, these are used for measurement of the resistance or values. DC bridges are used for measurement of the resistance. Okay, and depending upon the type of the voltage you are used as an excitation voltage, these are called as DC bridges. So we will apply the DC excitation voltage, okay, for operating of this DC bridges. For AC bridges, we will apply AC alternating voltage as excitation voltage. So these are the major differences between DC bridges and AC bridges. Coming to next one, so types of DC bridges. So we are saying that DC bridges and AC bridges. Again, DC bridges are classified into two types. One is Wheatstone bridge, and second one is Kelvin's bridge. Wheatstone bridge and Kelvin bridge. And types of AC bridges. AC bridges are capacitance comparison bridge, inductance comparison bridge, Maxwell's bridge, Hayes bridge, Anderson bridge, Scaring bridge, and Wien's bridge. Okay, so like this, the nearly 7 bridges are there for measurement of AC impedances. For measurement of AC impedances, we have nearly 7 types of AC bridges are there. Okay, so here the first one is capacitance comparison bridge. Okay, by using the comparison with the capacitance, we can measure the capacitor impedance of the capacitor. Similarly, the impedance present in the inductor or inductance will be measured by comparing it with the non-inductance value. Okay, in this bridge. So Maxwell bridge is also used for measurement of unknown inductance. Okay, so unknown inductance value. And similarly, we have Hayes bridge. So this is also used for measurement of inductance values. And Scaring bridge and Wien bridge. These two are used for measurement of capacitance value. These two are used for measurement of capacitance values. So a bridge circuit. So generally a bridge circuit consists of what are the main elements? So what are the main elements of a bridge network or bridge circuit? So it consists of a main that it is consists of a 4 arms. Okay, and 4 arms. In that 4 arms we have connect the various elements, that is resistors and unknown resistance values, and it will form as a closed circuit. and for that we will apply a DC source. Okay, okay, and we apply the DC source at two junctions. Okay, by combining these four arms, we will get four junctions. At the two opposite junctions, we will apply the input excitation source, and other two junctions we will apply we will get the output. So we will measure the output. So that measuring of output will be possible by using a current detector. By using a current detector. Okay. So and this current detector is connected to other two junctions. So the first one is a Wheatstone bridge. So Wheatstone bridge is used for the first type of the DC bridge we are going to discuss is the Wheatstone bridge, and this Wheatstone bridge is used for accurate measurement of resistance and for laboratory purpose. So major concern for the Wheatstone bridge is used for measurement of resistance. Okay, so with this Wheatstone bridge we can measure accurate value of resistance, and more we can use in the laboratory purposes, laboratory applications. We can use the Wheatstone bridge. And so in this Wheatstone bridge we apply an EMF voltage as an excitation source. Okay, and a galvanometer is used as an detector. A galvanometer is used as an detector, and it is a sensitive microammeter. So it is a galvanometer is nothing but a sensitive microammeter with a zero center scale. So in this galvanometer we have a scale. Okay, so it is having a zero at the center. The galvanometer which is having zero reading or 0 point at center. Okay, so in the most of the we can observe the meters, and those meters the reading will be starts from left to right. In the left we have zero value, and right we have maximum value. Analog meters, in the analog meters we can observe we can observe the reading, so which is starting from 0 on the left side and maximum value reading on the right side. So whereas for using the detector in the this Wheatstone bridges, so we use a galvanometer, and that galvanometer have a reading in such a way that 0 is at middle, and for the right side and left side we have scales. Okay, so depending upon the current direction, so if the current is going in one direction, the point will be moves one side. Okay, if the current is moving in the opposite direction, the point will shows on the other side. Okay, so like this, when there is no current through the meter, the galvanometer points at 0. Okay. Suppose the current flowing in the circuit, if there is no current flowing in the circuit, then the point will shows at 0 position. Okay. If the current is moving in one direction, so the point will be deflected in one side, and the current is moving in the opposite direction. Okay, so then the point will be shows the other side. So like this, this detector is used to measure the variation. Okay, so that variation or deflection of the pointer on the scale will reflect the how much current is flowing through the circuit. Okay. So this is the schematic diagram of the Wheatstone bridge. So this is the schematic diagram of the Wheatstone bridge. So whereas in this case we have a voltage source. Here we have a voltage source E, and we connect a switch SW1, and here we have bridge circuit is having 4 arms, R1, R2, R3, R4. So here we have 4 arms. These are called as arms, and each arm is having a resistor, and it is R1, R2, R3, R4 values. And two junctions of the bridge are connected to the excitation voltage, and other 2 junctions of the bridge are connected by using the galvanometer. The other 2 junctions are connected by galvanometer. So here, by applying or by connecting switch SW1, switch is connected, then what happens? The applied voltage is applies to the circuit by flowing the current. So when the current is flowing in this direction, okay, so when the current is flowing in this direction, there is a junction. So here it will be divides into I1 and I2. Okay, so and again after reaching the C and D points, after reaching the C and D points, the current will be goes as a I3 and I4. If there is a difference, if if there is imbalance of this circuit, if there is an imbalance of the circuit, then the sum of the current will be flows through the galvanometer. Okay, if the bridge is balanced, it means the resistance value of R1 and R3 is equal, and R2 and R4 are equal. So there is no potential difference across these two, C and D. So the potential difference across C and D are equal. Okay, then the galvanometer shows 0 value. When the potential difference between C and D are equal, then there is a it shows the 0 value. If some potential difference is there, then what happens? The current will be flows through the galvanometer. Then the point will be shows some other value. So depending upon the direction of the current. If the current is flowing in this direction, then the point will be shows the one side of the meter, and if the current is flowing in this direction, then the point will be shows the other side. So like this, we will connect the galvanometer and voltage source to the bridge circuits. Okay, so it is a Wheatstone bridge. So in the Wheatstone bridge, we can use the 4 resistors. So the main concept of bridge circuits is obtaining the balancing of the bridge. So when the bridge is balanced, we can have the 0 value in the meter. We can get the 0 value in the meter. When the bridge is balanced condition, we will get the 0 value on the meter. So it indicates the bridge is balanced. If the value is 0, the meter indicated value is 0, then we can say the bridge is balanced. If other than 0 value, then the bridge is unbalanced. Okay, unbalanced. Suppose here we are connected a unknown resistance here. In the place of R4, so I was connected an unknown resistor, some Rx, having resistance value of Rx, and some other resistance in the R3. I am using some variable resistor. In the place of R3, I am using a variable resistance. Okay, so now we can connect the switch. Okay, and we can adjust the resistor R3. Okay, so we will note the resistance value R3. Okay, until the meter will shows the 0 value, because we are applied an unknown resistance value, and due to that, initially the meter will be shows the some reading. To balance this bridge circuit, we have to adjust the resistance R3. Okay, by adjusting this R3 resistance value, what happens? Until we will adjust this R3 resistance value until the the galvanometer will shows the zero value. It means the bridge should be makes the bridge should be balanced. Until that we will adjust the R3. After reaching the zero value or the bridge is balanced, we will note down the how much resistance we are adjusted here. So how much resistance we are varied. So that change of the resistance is considered as the unknown resistance value. Unknown resistance value. So like this we can measure the unknown resistance value by using the Wheatstone bridge. So here we have to derive the equation for balancing of the bridge circuit. So how the balancing of this balanced bridge circuit equation we can generate it, that we will see. So first of all, so to obtain the bridge balance condition from this figure, so we will obtain a equation. So from the junction A, so we have a currents I1 and I2. I1 and I2. So the voltage across this resistance R1 is I1 into R1, and that is equals to I2 into R2. For the galvanometer current to be zero, that is balanced condition. So the following conditions should be satisfied. Okay. For the showing of the galvanometer value is zero. Okay. So condition what should be satisfied is I3 is equals to I1 is equals to I3, and I3 is equals to E by R1 plus R3. So here the current which is flowing to I1 is same as I3 when there is a meter will reads the zero value. The galvanometer will reads or shows the zero value. In such situation, the I1 is equals to I3, and that is same, and that current is obtained as the applied voltage E by total resistance R1 plus R3. I1 is equals to I3, and that is equals to E by applied potential E by R1 plus R3. Similarly, for I2 is equals to I4. For this case, we will obtain E by capital E, that is applied potential E over R2 plus R4. R2 plus R4. Okay. So similarly, so now we can substitute this I1 and I2 in this first equation. I will substitute this I1 and I2 in the I1 R1 is equals to I2 R2. Okay. So by substituting I1 and I2 in this equation, so you will get this one. So E into R1 by R1 plus R3. Okay. So E by R1 plus R3 nothing but the I1. Okay. And E into R2 by R2 plus R4 is nothing but the I4. Okay. E by R2 plus R4 is nothing but the I4. Okay. And from this we'll get E will cancel, and from that we'll get R1 into R2 plus R4 is equals to R2 into R1 plus R3. R2 into R1 plus R3. And finally we'll get R4 is equals to R2 into R3 over R1. R4 is equals to R2 R3 over R1. So this is the bridge balancing condition. So otherwise we can say it as a, so R1 into R4, R1 into R4 is equals to R2 into R3. So this is the fixed. So R4, R1 into R4 is equals to R2 into R3. This is the bridge balance condition. In such situation, the R1, R2, R1, R4 is equals to R2, R3 should be satisfied. So the resistance multiplication of R1 and R2 is equals to multiplication of the R2 and R3 should be satisfied. In such situation, we can say that the bridge is balanced. So this is the equation of the bridge to be balanced. Okay. So from that equation, we have to measure the unknown resistance. Here R4 is considered as, most of the cases we can use it as R4 arm is used as an unknown resistance. For connecting the unknown resistance, we can use the fourth arm R4. So that is also obtained. So coming to practical Wheatstone bridge, at least one of the resistance is made adjustable to permit balancing. So I was explaining in the previous circuit diagram. We will consider any one of the arm, that is R3. I was considered as R3 as an adjustable resistance or variable resistance. By adjusting that resistance, we can make the bridge to be balanced. Sorry. When the bridge is balanced, the unknown resistance, generally unknown resistance is connected at arm 4. That is nothing but R4. Is determined from setting of the adjustable resistor, which is called as standard resistor. The R3 resistance is considered as a standard resistor because with that resistor we can have a precision value. We can measure its small tolerances. A small values also should be, we can adjust and also have a precision value. So for it will provide a high precision value of resistance and having a small tolerance. So that's why that particular variable resistance we can consider as a standard resistance. Standard resistance. Okay. Hence, in place of we are connecting unknown resistance in place of R4. So that is nothing but the becomes as Rx, and Rx is equals to R2 into R3 by R1. Okay. So like this we can measure the unknown resistance. Like this we can measure the unknown resistance. So the next one is sensitivity of Wheatstone bridge. Sensitivity of Wheatstone bridge. When the bridge is unbalanced condition, current flows through the meter. Okay. So when the bridge is balanced, there is no current flowing through the meter. When the bridge is unbalanced, okay, then there is a potential difference appears across the meter, and due to that the current will flow through the meter. Okay, and that causing the deflection of the pointer. So the point will be present in the meter. The point will be present in the meter. Will deflect any other side, any side of the meter, depending upon the direction of the current which is flowing through the meter. The current which is flowing through the meter, depending upon that, the pointer on the scale will be deflects to any other side, any one side. The amount of deflection is a function of the sensitivity of galvanometer. The amount of deflection is a function of the sensitivity of galvanometer. Okay, so here also sensitivity. So in the last CRO class, we are also studied the deflection sensitivity. Deflection sensitivity. Like that in Wheatstone bridge also deflection sensitivity, that is corresponds to meter sensitivity. So meter. So here the input is the applied amount of the current to the meter, and the output is the how much deflection it is occurred. So the deflection may be in the form of linear or in the form of radians or angular way. The deflection may be in the linear form of deflection or it is in the angular form of deflection. So when the linear form of so sensitivity is deflection per unit current. So for a small change of the current, how much deflection is occurred. So that will represent the sensitivity. Deflection may be expressed in linear or angular units of measure. Sensitivity can be expressed in units of S is equals to millimeters per microamperes. If it is in terms of linear deflection, then it is represented in terms of millimeters. Whether the deflection is an angular way of deflection, then we can represent it is in terms of degrees or radians. Then the sensitivity is in terms of degree per microamperes or radians per microamperes. So sensitivity is represented like that. So the total deflection D is equals to S into I. The total deflection D is equals to S into I. So where S is the sensitivity, meter sensitivity, and I is the current which is applied to the meter in terms of microamperes. Where I is the current in microamperes. Microamperes, not meters, microamperes. So application of Wheatstone bridge. So what are the applications of Wheatstone bridge? So why we have to use the Wheatstone bridge? First of all, we have to measure the resistance, unknown resistance of the different wires, different types of wires. Suppose we have so wire is there, okay, and long wires are there, okay, and that wire resistance is to be measured, okay, and the quality of the wire. So we are using some wires, connecting wires in the household purposes, and the quality of that wire will be to determine that quality of the wire or some assembly in which it is used. So we are using some wires in a particular arrangement. For that arrangement, we have to measure some unknown resistance. And similarly, for example, the measurement of resistance is done in motor windings. Suppose in the different types of motors are there, okay, there, and for those motors we have to measure the resistance. And similarly, transformers, the resistance of the transformers will be measured by using the Wheatstone bridge. Similarly, we have solenoid valves and relay coils. By using the solenoid valves, we can apply the change of the on-off solenoid valves are nothing but the opening and closing of the circuits. Okay, from that we can allow the some liquid or like that. For the construction of the solenoid valves, we will use the coils. So to measure the resistance of those coils, and for measuring of the relay coils, the relay contacts are there, and those relay contactors. So also we have some coil wire will be wound on that one, okay, and that relay resistances are measured by using a Wheatstone bridge. So these are some of the applications, and Wheatstone bridge is also used extensively by telephone companies and others to locate cable faults. So there are a number of number of cables are there, from long distance cables are there. So we have to find the faults. So what are different types of faults we can observe in the cables are nothing but two lines shorted together. So we have cables are placed side by side. In some situations, maybe two wires may be short circuited. Okay, so in such situation, the capacity, the resistance changes. So to measure that change in resistance or to identify the fault, that is a short circuited of two wires, so determined by this Wheatstone bridge. And another one is the single line short circuit, and that is a single line which is grounded. Okay, so a single line which is shorted to ground or which is connected to ground. Then what happens? the applied voltage, everything is goes to or connected to ground. So then your current bill is increases. Okay, in household purpose, so in some cases we will connect to some part of the wire will be connected to ground. Okay, so if any wire is short circuited, okay, so then what happens, the entire current will flow through that wire and reaches the ground. Then the current will be high. Okay, so like this, to measure that or to identify that fault, we can use the Wheatstone bridge. And here, by using the applications of the Wheatstone bridges, we have some limitations of Wheatstone bridge. So we have some limitations also. So what are those limitations? So while measuring the low resistance, the resistance of leads and contacts. So here we are connecting the voltage source to bridge circuits, and from bridge circuits to we are connecting the meter. So while connecting this, we have to use some leads or contacts. So we have to contact, and those contact wise resistance also includes in the circuit diagram. For while measuring the low resistance value, the resistance of these contacts and lead wires also will add the that low resistance value. So that is will creates an error. Okay, so it creates an error. So it will does not show the actual value of the unknown resistance, and this can be eliminated by using a Kelvin's double bridge. This can be eliminated. So that is the error caused by the resistance of leads and contacts is is eliminated by Kelvin's double bridge. And similarly, for measurement of the high resistance, the high resistance is provided by the bits becomes so large that the galvanometer is insensitive to imbalance. For when measuring the high resistance of the circuits, okay, the resistance provided by the bridge becomes so large. Okay, and in such situation, the meter does not sense the variations or insensitive to imbalances. To avoid such situation, we use the power supply by replacing battery. Power supply has to be replaced by battery, and a DC voltmeter, that is a transistorized voltmeter, or replaces the galvanometer. In case of for measuring of the mega ohms in terms of mega ohm resistance, in such situation, this Wheatstone bridge cannot be used. If you want to measure in terms of mega ohms, so in such situation, the Wheatstone bridge is not suitable. In such situation, for measuring the very mega ohms resistance, we can go for the Megger. So Megger circuit will be used. So Megger circuit will be used for very high resistance, that is in terms of mega ohms. For measuring of mega ohms resistance, this Wheatstone bridge is not suitable. Okay, so these are some of the limitations of Wheatstone bridge. So in this session, we are learning about